There's a certain quiet that comes in the early hours of the day. Maybe it's just before the sun fully rises, when the house is still and the world hasn't quite begun to stir. Or maybe it's later, after breakfast, when everything slows, and there's finally a bit of space, like no phone calls, no rush, just you and the silence. And yet sometimes that silence doesn't feel peaceful. Sometimes it feels heavy, like a kind of emptiness. After 60, the rhythm of life changes. The routines we used to have, they shift. The people we cared for so often are grown, and the days can feel long, especially the ones that begin with no clear direction. But what if I told you that one simple hour, just one quiet, gentle hour, could completely change the way the rest of your day feels? I'm not talking about anything complicated. No long to-do lists, no pressure to fix your life. Just an hour that you claim as your own. A time to slow down, breathe a little deeper, and feel more you again. In the next few minutes, I'd like to share something tender and simple with you, something that might soften the edges of your days. So if you can, stay with me. Let's walk through this gently, together. 1 hour, one small change, one beautiful difference. As we get older, the way we experience time begins to shift. The days may seem longer, yet somehow quieter. The constant rushing we once knew, getting the kids off to school, hurrying off to work, cooking meals, attending appointments, it slows. And while that can be a relief in many ways, it can also feel unfamiliar, even lonely. When we wake up now, there's often no alarm clock buzzing, no voices calling out from other rooms. The house might be still, maybe even too still, and that stillness can feel like something's missing. But here's something gentle to consider. Instead of seeing that stillness as emptiness, what if we saw it as an invitation? An open door to spend the first hour of the day not in reaction, not to the news, or the phone, or the worries, but in reflection, in kindness, in slowness. This 1 hour doesn't have to be filled with tasks. In fact, it's better if it isn't. It's simply about giving yourself space. Maybe you sit by the window with a warm cup of tea and watch the light stretch across the sky. Maybe you write down a memory or read a page from a favorite book. Maybe you just sit and breathe. The truth is, this hour is not about doing more. It's about being more present with yourself. It's a quiet promise. Before I give my time to the world today, I will give a little of it to myself, because you still matter. Your thoughts, your peace, your presence, they matter deeply. And when you begin the day by honoring yourself gently, the rest of the day often follows in a softer, kinder rhythm. You don't need permission to do this. You've earned this hour many times over. There's something quietly powerful that happens when we allow ourselves to sit with our own thoughts without rushing away from them. And often in that 1 hour of stillness, something unexpected begins to rise. Old memories, soft griefs, tender longings we've tucked away for years. Maybe it's the memory of someone we loved who's no longer here, or a moment in our past we wish we could relive or do differently. Maybe it's just a feeling of missing who we once were, more energetic, more needed, more involved. Those feelings aren't wrong. They're not signs of weakness. They're signs that your heart is still awake. But instead of turning away from those emotions, instead of distracting ourselves with the television or tidying or busyness, what if we gently welcome them in during that hour? Let them sit beside us like old friends. Let them speak. There's a certain kind of healing that happens when we stop running from ourselves, when we realize that we don't need to have everything figured out. We just need to be present, with our breath, with our thoughts, with our truth. And here's the shift and the quiet miracle. When you give yourself this hour, again and again, those hard emotions start to soften. They don't disappear overnight, but they begin to feel less sharp, less frightening. You begin to carry them with more grace, like weathered stones that no longer weigh you down quite the same way. In that space, you begin to notice moments of peace, maybe even joy, a bird song, the smell of something baking, a sudden memory that makes you smile instead of ache. It's not magic, it's presence. And presence is something we can still give ourselves, even now, even after everything. This 1 hour, gently repeated, becomes a kind of sanctuary, a place inside the day where you are allowed to feel everything, and still come out the other side with your spirit intact. It's easy to forget how deeply the body listens to the way we begin our day. When we wake up and immediately feel anxious or scattered, and when we rush even in small ways, the body tenses, shoulders tighten, breathing becomes shallow. Our hearts may beat a little faster. We might not even notice it, but our bodies are already bracing themselves. For what? We're not even sure. But when we start the day slowly, gently, when we claim 1 hour just for peace, and the body hears that too, it relaxes, it softens, the breath deepens, and in those simple, quiet moments, the body begins to heal. Even just a few deep breaths with your eyes closed, a gentle stretch of your hands, your back, your legs, a walk through the garden, or a moment of stillness near the sunlight. All of these tell your body, you are safe, you are cared for. This isn't exercise for the sake of fitness. It's movement for the sake of presence. You're not trying to become someone younger or stronger. You're simply honoring the body you live in today, the one that has carried you through so much. And when you give yourself this time in the morning, your relationships can feel the difference too. You may speak more gently to your spouse. You may feel more patient when the phone rings, or when someone needs your attention. That single hour of tending to your own peace makes you more available, more present here for others. It's like lighting a small candle. The flame may be quiet, but it warms the whole room. So if your joints feel stiff in the mornings, if your thoughts feel foggy, if you sometimes feel emotionally worn before the day even begins, this 1 hour can be your medicine. Not from a bottle, but from the simple act of listening to what your body needs. Gentleness, rhythm, care. You don't need a plan, just a soft beginning. There is a quiet hunger in the soul that often grows stronger with age. It's not for food or comfort or even companionship, though those things matter. It's a hunger to feel connected again, to something larger, something deeper, to feel held, even in silence. Many of us after 60 find ourselves asking questions we didn't have time for before. Questions about purpose, about meaning, about what's next. And in that hour of stillness each day, those questions don't have to be solved, but they can be welcomed. That hour can become something sacred, a place where the noise of the world quiets down enough that we can actually hear the voice inside us. Some call it the soul. Some call it spirit. Some feel it as the memory of a parent's kindness or a hymn that still echoes in the heart. Whatever name it takes, that presence is real, and it's waiting for us in the stillness. You don't have to be religious to feel this. You just have to be open. Maybe it comes as a quiet prayer, or a moment of gratitude, or simply looking at the sky and remembering that you are still part of something infinite, even as the years pass. And if you do have a faith tradition, this hour is a beautiful space to return to it. Not out of obligation, but as a way to reconnect, to kneel in your heart and say, I'm still here, and I know you are too. It doesn't need to be loud. In fact, it's better when it's not. The deepest spiritual moments often happen in whispers, in the flicker of candlelight, the hush of morning, the tears that come without warning. This hour is where your spirit can stretch its legs again, where you can remember that you are not just a body moving through time, but a soul that still feels, still wonders, still loves, and that is more than enough. So here we are, just you and this gentle idea. 1 hour. That's all it takes to begin creating a softer, more meaningful day. Not a perfect day. Not a day without aches or quiet griefs, but a day that feels yours. A day that starts with presence, not pressure, with calm, not chaos. Maybe tomorrow morning you'll sit with a cup of warm tea and simply look out the window for a few minutes longer. Maybe you'll breathe a little deeper or say a quiet prayer before your feet touch the floor. Maybe you'll write a few words in a notebook, just to remind yourself that your thoughts still matter. However you choose to spend that hour, it's not wasted. It's an act of love. For your body, your mind, your spirit. And you deserve that love. After everything you've given, the years of care, the sacrifices, the strength you showed when no one was watching, this hour is a way to give something back. To you. So take it. Claim it as your own. Even if it's just a few minutes at first. Let it grow. Let it guide you. Let it remind you that no matter your age, each morning is still a beginning. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. You are still becoming. And that one quiet hour, it may just be the most important gift you give yourself all day.